serious business. So, welcome to episode 2 of WoW Forum Adventures. Ah, man. The reason I really like the show, and I won't do it for a while, is because I love when people basically say what I said like half a year ago and they start to realize this now. Though, let's be real, I'm sure there were complaints about it way back when. Like when I made my first videos that talked about the problems that WoW has. Just now, literally, I didn't even have to scroll hard to find these in the forums. All of these topics literally are like almost instantly like within like, you know, like this is, you know, you see, let's say you see the list here and then you do one like this and you see like that's all I did to get all of these. So it's going to be really easy to find interesting forum topics. Anyways, let's get on with what is being said here. This is like, you know, Brett Cooper's comment section. This is like Framin Thor's forum section. Anyways, but not really. So, 10.1 shows that Blizzard is still out of touch. Yeah, no fucking shit. Let's go. Let's dive into it. I recently returned to retail and decided to play through 10.1. This patch has multiple problems, unfortunately, and I do not see myself sticking around. Just to list a few, the writing is dull and devoid of conflict. Yeah, well, I mean, the newser is right. Like, the thing is, let's talk about the writing for a second. They put all of their effort into the writing of 10.0. Like, let's be real about it. 10.0 writing, the quests, I heard are like, were more interesting. The zones were a bit more interesting, stuff like that. I'm not saying they were great, but it's like, that's where they put all their effort. And that's when they had like 2 years of time. How much content do you really think they're gonna, like, how good is the storytelling gonna be when they have less time to write shit? Right? Like, how good do you think it will be when they have less time to write stuff down? They're just gonna ship whatever they can. They're in a rush now. When you had 2 years to write stuff, you could like write something and then it's like, we're gonna like change it up a bit and then change it up a bit and then you make it like into something. Actually, let's make this quest go a bit longer. Right? You're not gonna do it with a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. So like 10.0 is the best version of Dragonflight in terms of like quality of content. And usually that's how it is, right? I'm not talking about like, for example, how systems work, stuff like that. I'm talking about like the quality that is there. The dungeons, the raid, right? Usually the first raid has the best quality. Usually, not always. Obviously, Legion, in my opinion, each raid was phenomenal overall. Yeah, Thomas Rogeres had issues. Yeah, Argus had issues. Like 1 or 2 bosses are just like, fuck this shit. But overall, I would say, let's say, raids in Legion were fantastic. Emerald Nightmare was super easy and accessible to many. Nighthold, where all the bosses were fucking great and a lot of lore tidbits, right? BFA, in my opinion, first raid was actually more fun, even as much as I didn't like. I mythic raided in Legion and finished it all. Dude, mythic raiding, like, the only reason I didn't do mythic raiding in Legion after in Argus is because I got Titan Forged item, max item level from Heroic, and I was like, why am I wasting my time on Mythic? But if Titan Forging wasn't a thing, I would definitely have Mythic raided all throughout of Legion. Argus was the only one I didn't Mythic raid. So, yeah. Shadowlands, what is the best raid? Castle Nathria, by far. Like, not even close. The first raid, the first everything, usually is the best on release. You're going to get the best quality at release for what it is. However, all of the problems of the expansions, like stuff that were like, you know, bad systems or, you know, certain like classes are overperforming and stuff like that, that will be fixed in the 0.3 patch. Okay, so the best quality in terms of like story and beginning content and stuff like that, obviously, is gonna be 0.0. But then all the problems that are not in good quality will be fixed at 10.3. So the question is, should you play at 0.0 or 0.3? In my opinion, you shouldn't play at all because it's a waste of fucking money. If you have to wait for 0.3 and then only have like half a year to play a game that you're paying essentially $400 for. Okay, like that's basically what it is. And by the way, it's 400 you're paying. Here, let's do quick math, right? Let's see, you have how many? Okay, so is it going by months or? Yeah, it goes by month, not like by weeks. Okay, so you have 24 times 15 plus 60. Let's say minimum price 60. You're paying $420 fucking dollars per WoW expansion. Waste of fucking money. Anyways, no one's talking about the story because there's barely anything to talk about except for the meme race with a Midwest accent for no reason. Do they have a Midwest accent? The Drakthir? While the Shadowlands story was poorly written, it had at least some fun aspects to discuss. Unfortunately, Dragonflight and especially 10.1 does not have that. Here's the problem. When you go back in the power scales, it's not interesting anymore. You have been introduced to fucking gods, to aliens and shit like that, and you're going back to deal with flying lizards. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Give me some big ass tentacly boys, okay? Give me some Void Lords. Don't give me these fucking stupid ass Disney dragons. And it's like, you can say that's like, oh, well, the expansion is going into that whole void area and like, we'll probably get voids. Yes. Is it going there? Maybe. But that doesn't mean I want to spend a year and a half getting there. We already know they exist. We dealt with death. I don't give a shit about these fucking dragons. No one really should. It's like, I don't care that the story technically is better than, let's say, Shadowlands or BFA. But it is irrelevant. They're trying to make it relevant, and like you can be like, oh, well, this is relevant, this is relevant. Sure, but we already passed that. If Dragonflight came right after Cataclysm, I'll be like, okay, cool. Now this is interesting. But right now it means that like it's fucking useless. The zone is yet another rare farm in the same style that there's more of this and Forbidden Reach, which makes the zone feel incredibly stagnant. Yep, and that's actually all you have in WoW. You have rare farm for endgame and maybe treasure hunting or some shit. The zone also introduces currencies that serve no purpose but to make gearing more convoluted and complicated. I don't know about complicated, but it is a bit annoying tracking a bunch of currencies. Just fucking make the same currency and give an upgrade currency. Like, you literally just need to have maybe like 3 different currencies for all the gear. Right? Let's say marks of heroism, marks of valor, and marks of conqueror. I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm just using like shit that they already had. Right? And it's like, if you're doing world content or normal raid, you can get marks of, like, whatever I said, the marks of heroism, let's say, right? The basic ones. If you're doing heroic raiding or mythic plus, let's say 10, like 8 to 15, you can get marks of valor. If you're doing the high-end content, you can get marks of conquest and you can upgrade the gear. I really don't understand why they made all of these convoluted currencies. That's like, oh, well, if you get an LFR gear, you can only upgrade it to this item level, and then you need to get the same gear from normal, and then you can upgrade that to be slightly better than heroic gear. But then, in order to upgrade it further, you actually need to find the heroic piece to do the same thing. Like, bro, why? Who is this for? This makes absolutely no fucking sense. It's like, oh, but you just want people to farm LFR for gear and then upgrade to Mythic. You still need to do Mythic to get the freaking currency to upgrade it to a Mythic item level. Like, it doesn't matter. You still have to do the content in order to be able to upgrade it there. It's so stupid. They're just complicating things for the sake of making complicated for no reason. And then what they'll do is, in like an expansion or two, they'll remove all the currencies. They'll put only one currency and they'll say something along the lines of what they used to say. It's like, oh, well, people found very hard to find the currency merchant. This is what the problem was with like the conquest vendor or whatever, the honor vendor for the gear. People found very hard to find. No, you just overcomplicated for no reason. Most of the Mythic Plus dungeons returning are dungeons that players loathe. Yeah. Underrot, I mean, I wouldn't say I loathe Underrot. I loathe Underrot in Season 1. But overall, Underrot is not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. Dragon rank updates are basically non-existent. Yeah, because, I mean, what else you gonna do? You got the most of it already. PvP isn't glad. I mean, always. Literally no new battleground, no new arena. Honestly, dude, just abolish arenas at this point. Make it like don't abolish as in like, yeah, it should be there, but we need more battlegrounds. We need different game modes. We need like we need different fucking PvP in this game. Like, let's be real. We need PvP with like Torghast style, like just fucking power out of the wazoo. Right, like let people have fun, or world objectives, because Eon has never touched it and seems to have a personal vendetta against it. I don't know what world objectives are. I don't know what he means by this. I'm assuming this is like what he means in like Burning Crusade, and I guess Classic had it. Yeah, Classic had it too in Eastern Plaguelands, and TBC had it in Terracar Forest, I believe. And also in Hellfire Pennon. I think that's what he means, the PvP world objectives. The crafting update that was highlighted on the roadmap is nowhere to be seen. No, I mean, all it is just you can craft higher. As the GD poll shows, most people dislike raiding and likely just do it for the gear. I wouldn't say they dislike raiding. I would say most people just go for the ease, ease of access. It's easier to spend your time doing Mythic Plus and getting more gear than you would in raid. That's just how it is. Since it once again got the most resources pulled into it for no reason other than Aeon having a personal preference for raiding. Unlike Orthia or Mechagon, the Mega Dungeon is delayed for a few months to try and sell the illusion of more frequent content updates. This I 100% agree. This illusion of more frequent content updates. People are saying it's like Dragonflight has been so good with content. Dragonflight has been dishing out content. Look at like 10.1. It gives more than 7.1 did. And I was like, but 7.0 had more content than 10.0. Or am I crazy? How many zones do you have in, what's it called? In Dragonflight, you have 4 zones. How many zones did you have in a Legion, like to start off with? You had 5 zones. You had an end game campaign in Suramar. Do you have that in Dragonflight? No, you don't. You had the single player, what do you call it? Like leveling up your like degenerates, right? You don't have anything like that in Dragonflight. Technically, Legion 7.0 came out with way more features and in new and innovative features as well. Mythic Plus started in Legion. Have we had any change to Mythic Plus ever since Legion? Not really. How it works? Not really. Dragonflight didn't do anything new at all, except dragon riding, which is like, a way to traverse, which is honestly fun for like a week, and then it's like, I have to actually look at my guy flying to get from point A to point B. Wow, great. Instead of just like looking at a video. and just out of flying. I mean, like, yeah, there are bonuses. It's faster, but like, who cares? What other contents? Like, oh, they have all the world events, bro. You had Legion invasions, okay? Like, oh, world quests. Oh, world quests were introduced in Legion. Like, let's be real here for a second. Dragonflight really didn't add anything to the game. Is it a better expansion than BFA or Shadowlands? Yeah, but the bar is so low on that one. Like, who gives a shit? What are you even comparing? Is it better than Legion? No. Is it better than MoP? No. All of these expansions came out with more content at the 0.0 than Dragonflight did. So all of this content that Dragonflight is gonna come up with right now is just it's still catching up to Legion. It is still just playing catch up. So it has less content, cost more. It's like, and there's no end game at all. As bad as systems are, right? As bad as the systems are in Legion, like the AP grind in BFA and Shadowlands, as bad as they were, at the very least, you had something to do on your character. In my opinion, all of these APs and stuff like that should have been account bound. All of these mundane, stupid grinds should have been account bound, and that would have solved everyone's problem. Essences, by the way, in BFA, probably one of the best things they've added. Corruption, one of the best things they've added. Accessibility to them was one of the worst things that they have ever done. If you made essences and cursed items fucking easier to get, no one would even think BFA was a bad expansion. Because honestly, it really wasn't, aside from how badly accessible the systems were. Anyways, this wasn't worth the 6-month wait. No, it wasn't even worth the, I don't know, a year and a half wait since everyone quit during Shadowlands. There's less to do in this patch and less to even talk about compared to Korthia. True, yeah. Which I can't believe I'm even saying. Blizzard needs to engage with their core audience. Hint, it isn't the 50 people who orbit the devs on Twitter or the 80 world first raiders. Yeah, it's the fucking boomers and doomers, bro. They want the big, sweaty, hairy men. Fucking asshole. And make the game for them. I know I'm not the only one to point these things out, but maybe another voice will help them get their priorities straight. Edit. I ultimately want the game to improve, which requires feedback. So this post exists for feedback and only for feedback. Okay. I'm not even going to scroll down because this guy has 28 replies. I just want to see what people are saying to him, because I can already imagine the guys who, let's say this, people who didn't quit during Shadowlands when everyone else did, they're not going to quit for anything. Right? That's why the retention in BFA in Dragonflight is so high, because everyone who already quit. They didn't even come back. So it's like the people who stayed are the ones who are like just like shit in their mouth. They would stay. It's like, doesn't matter. All right, let's see. 20 replies. I agree with everything you said, and I hope people keep coming forward with feedback. Dragonflight can still be saved, but it won't be this patch. I love the people who say it's like, Dragonflight is a good expansion, you should play it. By the way, everyone who says it doesn't even play the game. And DF can still be saved. Jesus Christ. The writing is dull and devoid of conflict. I disagree. It isn't devoid of conflict. The conflict is just very melodramatic. And of course, the writing is bad per usual. Glad I unsubbed. Oh, classic tune and low level tune. Here you go. And low level tune. Shame you aren't also DK. Could have gone for the hat trick. Like, again, how is this relevant? As the GD poll shows, most people dislike raiding. And now imagine thinking GD is in any ways representative of the WoW population. I know that Beller will bring out the numbers of cleared raid. Ah, man. Nah, I don't want Keystone Master. Where's the drop rate? There we go. One of the most exciting activities in World of Warcraft are raids with multiple difficulties, blah, 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 blah. I wonder if there's a... I know what to look for this. like you can't really look at the whatever. Either way, the numbers are not there. Most people are not rating. Okay, then like every freaking time Beller does a video, vast majority of people are not rating, let alone finishing a raid. Okay, I'm not talking finishing a raid. I'm just talking about like past the first three bosses. The first three bosses are free anyways. Anything past the first three, if you don't do that, you're not raiding. Especially Underrot. I always enjoyed it. Perhaps it's merely a pet peeve. You're trying to shield behind vague players TM. I would say Underrot is one of the least liked dungeons overall. It's not the worst, but it's not. I don't think it's the top 4. I think it's the bottom 4 Underrot. Most of the Mythic Plus dungeons returning are dungeons the players loathed. You take that back. They brought 2 good ones, I guess, but writing is dull and devoid of conflict. LOL. So conflict is the only avenue to entertain. No, he said it is dull and devoid of conflict. So it's like it's 2 points. Not for many of us. Again, like it's like what precisely in the writing do you enjoy? It's like what they said Dragonfly was going to be, which had me nervous, and why I intend not to buy DF after seeing there's only yet another rare form. Okay, seeing it on beta and playing it, I'm realizing I didn't hate Zereth Mortis because it was boring. I hated it because it was so boring to look at. If one loved Zereth Mortis, I'm having a hard time taking them seriously if they say they hate Dragonflight or the new zone. A very hard time. Okay. It also introduces currencies that serve no purpose but to make gearing more convoluted. Yeah, that's getting annoying, but this is Blizzard we're talking about. Yeah, like they cannot simplify the shit. It's so dumb. Writing is dull. It's like this since the beginning, all made up story, except when they extended the story of Arthas and Illidan from Warcraft 3. Not really. I mean, yeah, but like everything that had to do with Sargeras was also very interesting. Right, the old gods I didn't find very interesting because they were always like so far in the background that's like but like everything that has to do with Sargeras, Illidan, Arthas, Night Elves were interesting when it just started. Orcs and humans, that war was interesting when it started. I feel like there was a lot of good stuff in the WoW lore to begin with. Dragons was not part of it. Dragons was never a big part of like interesting lore. Ever. Really. Story doesn't matter. We had found Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, Ankh-Kiraj, and Naxxramas. Naxxramas? Story doesn't matter? Really? Okay. There were no story back then. Who cares? The real story is the gaming story of the adventurer of... Oh my god. Okay, this is like super classic Andy, I guess. And now the rare farm in the same style as Zereth Mortis. There's nothing wrong with the new zone. Fast dragon riding to reach rares is the current thing in WoW. You hate it if you suck on dragon riding. I don't know what to tell you, just get good. No, you hate it because it's fucking boring. You just go from point A to point B. I'm an expert dragon rider, okay? It's fucking boring. Why are you farming rares? Why are you wasting time farming rares when you can do a Mythic Plus? It's inefficient. Oh, reputation. Fuck does reputation give you? Oh, irrelevant story. Great. Most of the Mythic Plus dungeons returning are dungeons the players loathe. I wish it's Shrine of the Storm and Tol Dagor. Look, you hate them more. I mean, dude, who likes Shrine of the Storm? Wait, no. Let me correct that. Never mind. Shrine of the Storm was actually good. Shrine of the Storm was not bad. I'm thinking the other one with the snake people. That one sucks. Tol Dagor, hit and miss. Really depends on group. I didn't mind Tol Dagor though. It's like the skips were problematic though. People like you hate them more. What you want are face roll dungeons that are so boring. Good thing it's not your decisions. I don't know. I still feel like Underrot is just not a very good dungeon. Like it's whatever. There's a new Dragon Mount, not accessible yet. 10.1 season hasn't started yet. Bro, it's yeah. Dragon riding updates are basically non-existent. Oh, there's a new dragon mount. Well, I guess you're wrong. Clearly, the updates are existent. Like, bro, like, it's a skin. The dragon mount is a skin. Who gives a shit? People want more shit to do with the dragons. Fucking aerial combat, I guess. The crafting update, that was one highlight. Okay, I can see the use of Altar of Decay would be popular in 10.1. I'm preparing for it. We'll see. I don't know what Altar of Decay is. Correction, bad players hate raiding. No, most people just are not raiding. You must be a bad player or a whiner claiming that raiding disrespects your time. For information, you disrespect yourself when you waste your time on a video game. Oh, man, I hate people who do this take. I hate people who do this take. This is such a shitty take. You must be a bad player. Okay, like, forget even him being an idiot and telling this guy he's a bad player because he doesn't even know. For your information, you disrespect yourself when you waste your time on a video game. This is such a stupid take. Saying that Blizzard is wasting your time in a game is not the same as saying a video game is like video games are a waste of time. Right? Obviously, you can say that's like, oh, well, it doesn't advance your life unless you make money off it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's a difference between farming, you know, playing a video game for hours on end and seeing absolutely no results for it. Like no character growth, no improvement in anything, like nothing. There's absolutely nothing happening for you, and you can play it 8 to 24 hours a day and absolutely get no improvements from the game, nor enjoyment. You don't even get the dopamine hits anymore from this stupid game. That means this game is wasting your time. And the design of the game is what causes this. If the game was at least giving you joy or giving you dopamine hits because you're working towards something and getting something out of it, not like in your real life, but like in the game, then it's not wasting your time. Running back after a raid wipe is a waste of your time. You're not actually playing the game at that point. You're not getting loot out of it. You're getting nothing. You're just wasting time at that point. Waiting for an asshole that forgot to change his talents, had to go back. Obviously, I don't think it's true now, but like this is way back when. An asshole to, you know, Hearthstone, change back his talents, come back in. If you have a warlock, great. If you don't, have to run outside, summon him. This is all a waste of time. Eating before every pull because of a wipe is a waste of time. You are not actively playing the game. If 70% of the raid revolves around you not actually playing the game is effectively wasting 70% of your fucking time. Because you're not playing it. This guy's a fucking idiot. Megadeth is delayed. It's not delayed, it's on the schedule since they posted the schedule last year. Keep on crying, whiner. Nothing pleases you. Whatever Blizz do for you, you whine. The best thing to do to people like you is to ignore. So why are you typing? You're fucking Momo. Like, I hate people like this. Like, absolutely nothing of substance was said here. It's just like, I hate your take, and here's why you're a fucking idiot and a bad player, even though he didn't disclose what his level of skill is. Absolutely nothing here that he said. By the way, I'm Mythic Raider. I did like plus 24s in Legion. I can easily get plus 20s done if I really want to within probably like a month or a month and a half, maybe 2. Now, like where I'm like barely even like item level, I'm thinking I'm like 393, and I'll probably be able to get like plus 20s in a month and a half. And I have very similar takes to what this guy says. Well, I guess I'm also a bad player. This guy's a fucking Momo. Most people dislike raiding and likely do it for gear. I think you're confusing raiding and Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is unpowered because it throws gear at you. Yes, and it's also more accessible, and it's easier to form the group and wastes less of your time. Rewards failure with Mythic item level gear and is both far easier to play and far easier to organize while being more rewarding. Yeah. So how is he confusing raiding and Mythic Plus? If raiding was given the Mythic Plus treatment, which it should, but it's not, i.e. wiping a normal mode boss gives you 1 mythic item level vault slot. Okay, that makes no sense. Was spammable 24/7, killing bosses was as easy as Mythic Plus, then it'd be the most popular. And okay, this is like, comparison is kind of shitty, but yeah, he is right. He is correct. Raiding fucking sucks because it's a waste of fucking time, and for the time you're spending in raid, 3 hours, if let's say you're doing prog, you kill like maybe 1, maybe 2 bosses in that week, your chance of getting loot in that like 3 hour, 4 hour raid is substantially less than running like 6 to 8 mythic pluses in that time, at least. Right? Like you would get like, out of 6 to 8 runs, you would get at least 4 items usually. Are you gonna get 4 items in a raid night? Fuck no, you're not. It just comes down to ease of getting rewards and the amount of effort required. Mythic Plus is easier, requires less effort, and you don't even have to successfully time the dungeon to get inflated rewards. What isn't to like? Well, again, so you're proving his point. I don't understand. Like, what is this guy talking about? He's actually proving the point. Warwick's Pinnacle. Nobody can load this Mythic Plus dungeon yet because it has not existed as Mythic Plus. Dude, yes, you can. This is the most boring Mythic Plus dungeon ever. There are no routes. There's nothing, like, it's a straight fucking line. Nothing to, like, avoid. No routes. You literally have to clear exactly the same way every week. Like, it's the most boring Mythic Plus dungeon. Also, not a very fun dungeon, like, design-wise. It's like a shit ton of damage. Good luck. Like, the balancing on this is gonna be fucking disgusting. And probably is. I mean, I know they already nerfed the last boss, and twice. Freehold. Yes, Freehold is a fan favorite. Not sure why. I mean, I think it's okay dungeon. I don't think it's like that great. On the Road, very, very good dungeon BFA that has been improved for Dragonfly Season 2. I've known very few competent players who strongly disliked On the Road. I don't strongly dislike it. I think it's the bottom 4. I mean, I like King's Rest way more. I think in my opinion, for me, King's Rest is number 1, and I know this is like super hot take. People hate King's Rest. I don't know why. I feel like King's Rest was just like such a better dungeon overall. You have walls to LOS, like there's like the halls. It felt like more of a dungeon than anything else, in a sense. Nothalion Lair is fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's not great. It's not bad. It was a DK dungeon, basically. Like, this is where you needed, like, Death Knights like crazy. So I'm not seeing the evidence that most of the Mythic Plus dungeons returning are dungeons the player loathe. Yeah, loathe was definitely not the best word, but I think he's just referring to Underworld. As a player that spends 9% of my game time playing Mythic Plus, Dragonfly Season 2 is the most excited I've been for a new Mythic Plus season in quite some time. Why? Have you seen the Dragonfly dungeons? These are the 4 worst Dragonfly dungeons out of the 8 Dragonfly dungeons. Like, by far. Brackenhide? Fucking Tier whatever? Dude, like, these dungeons are fucking garbage. All 4 of them are, like, the only ones, like, Neltharian's Lab, I don't know what fucking it was called, the thing with the fire giants. That's the only one that was like had potential to be good. All the other ones are fucking dog shit. PvP is neglected. I used to enjoy PvP, but once I got to the point of having all conquest gear and realized that what I had have to do in order to upgrade my pieces, I checked out completely. I don't care for that PvP content at all, or it felt pointless to continue to do regular BGs, which I love. The lack of attention to this red-headed stepchild is very apparent and has been for a long time. Yeah, I agree. I mean, nothing else to say. PvP has been... It's like they're changing the systems for PvP, but the PvP itself is still the same, and it's pretty fucking boring. That's why even like PvPers in WoW are playing fucking hardcore WoW right now, because no one watches PvP WoW anymore. Most of your post is on point, but I have to disagree with this. That poll is awful. Yeah, the poll is awful, but it is true. I mean, just wait for the Beller video. Beller is gonna show the numbers for the raid, and it's not gonna be pretty. Writing is dull. Writing in DF has been overall quite good. The majority of vocal players wanted a smaller, more Azeroth-focused conflict, not yet another end of existence apocalypse. There's conflict, character growth, and interesting lore. Not really. Irrelevant lore, more like just made up irrelevant lore. That's all it is. The zones is not rare. For better or worse, this is what it's been since at least Mists of Pandaria. Not really. You had mini games in Mists of Pandaria too. Before that, it was less. TBC, Wrath, and Kata got new raids, but almost zero new zones. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we want to go that far back. I mean, yeah, there was nothing to do in the game. It just shows like why you needed the systems in Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands, because there's absolutely nothing to do in Endgame. Just currencies. While I do think Blizz could have been simplified a little, no, a lot, just make upgrades cost 15 fragments directly rather than having to turn 15 frags to a crest. The upgrade system is really not complicated and would actually be a good long-term solution to making both Raid and Mythic Plus feel more aligned. You know how you make Raid and Mythic Plus feel aligned? Give specific Mythic Plus bonuses that do not work in Raid on the Mythic Plus gear. Okay? Or do something like they did in Torghast, where you had this NPC that gives you the Torghast powers. Make something like that for Mythic Plus. And then your Raid gear doesn't work, or like make it so like basically item level from Raid is not gonna be as useful. Make it so that the tier sets for Raid only work in Raid. Right? So that if you want to raid, if you're a raider, you go raiding. If you're a Mythic Plus, you do Mythic Plus. They should not harass one another. Same with like PvP should not harass raid. Now you can use some of the PvP gear for the raid, but your best in slot for the raid should not come from PvP. Should give you like a nice little like starter point, sure, but the raiding gear should be the best for raiding. Mythic Plus gear should be the best for Mythic Plus. I think ESO did the best fucking job at this, and like you had the sets that literally affect like 11 other players. You have sets, right, for like support or like healers, whatever. The closest 11 players to you get whatever bonus, which is basically what a trial is, 12 people, you and 11 other people. So you get sets for the trial specifically, right? Most of the Mythic Plus dungeon returning or dungeon freehold was one of the most asked for returning Mythic Plus. Yeah, Nathan Lair was quite popular in Legion. It was fine. Yeah, okay, we talked about this. Is the first attempt at turning pre-mob dungeons to Mythic Plus. That like Vortex Pinnacle is just fucking ugh. Join Ryan updates are basically non-existent. Join Ryan has been great since launch. 0.07 update didn't do much, but the ground skimming is actually quite useful. It's, I mean, it was great for a week. PvP isn't that. PvP has always been second priority to PvE and WoW. Since vanilla, it's unfortunate, but WoW has, since vanilla, oh yeah, like including, okay. But WoW has always been PvE focused first, PvP second. I would love to see a new epic battleground, or better yet, a return to Soda. Forgot what Soda was. Something of the Ancients? Don't remember. Shit. And new PvP maps and modes every patch is never going to happen. Yeah. Updates to crafting were smaller than I had hoped. I mean, crafting is a fucking joke. Like, let's be real. It's either overpowered, it's like too much, or it's just useless. Like, it's one or the other. They cannot balance it for shit. Which is like, makes absolutely no sense to me why they can't fucking balance it. Because they have so much more time balancing this, because they don't have all the external system that they used to have to balance. Didn't see the poll you're referencing, so I can't comment on that, but raiding is still quite popular. Actually, not really. I don't understand why people have this misconception. Raiding is really not popular. Well, first races still draw tens of thousands of views. Man, it's like saying that WoW streamers are popular because people are watching people play classic hardcore. Right, it's like, oh, tens of thousands of views. Bro, tens of thousands of views. This game is supposed to have 2 million fucking players. Or more. 10,000 views is nothing. It's really not interesting. I don't know what to tell you. Imagine soccer had only tens of thousands of views. It would die instantly. It's like the fuck. Like Courtier or Megagon, the Mega Dungeons is delayed. Mega Dungeons are not always. I think they were. I feel like Mega Dungeon in Shadowlands was also 0.15, right? Okay. Midwest mole people. These mole people have Midwestern accents and call you dad, buddy. First of all, stop with the adorable fucking races. Like, since when did World of Warcraft become a fucking Disney show? This is not what WoW is. WoW is not about being in the next Disney, okay? It was easier to focus on that than let myself think. This is how Blizzard's dev team sees you. This is their critique of anyone who doesn't live on the coast. I mean, okay, fine. I wear skin. I can take a joke. I don't care about this. I don't care. Like, it's this argument is the same as saying that's like, oh, trolls having the Jamaican accent, meaning Jamaicans. Like, no, this is bullshit. No one gives a shit. Stop with this bullshit, okay? That no one cares about this. You want to take it like that and have fun with it? I don't care, but that's not what is actually happening. I just don't understand why there's mole people as a whole. Why are they cutesy? Like, stop with the cutesy bullshit in WoW, man. People preferring a different activity does not mean they dislike all others. No, the poll does not show most people disliking raiding. Well, they don't spend time doing it, therefore. You know, it's like, oh, I think raiding's great. Do you do it? No. Well, guess what? It's like saying, it's like, oh, I think Dragonflight is great. Are you playing it? No. Then fuck off. So you don't think it's great. Oh, God. You guys really need to update your talking points. The game hasn't been centered around raiding in almost 7 years now. True. True. A big true. Can I get a big true? It is a true. Yes, it has not been centered around raiding since Mythic Plus came out, basically. He having personal preference for raiding. Ian hasn't logged into the game or raided since Sanctum of Them. I love that this guy is actually following to see if Ian raided. Real non-roller considers, okay, this the same. I think Carthia was 8 months. Wait, but who's counting? Devoid of conflict. I don't know what game you've been playing. Probably, I think what he means in devoid of conflict, and I don't want to justify because like he could be wrong about this, but there's no pressure for time. Like there's just no pressure. There's no like, nothing is about to blow up at any moment if we don't deal with it. And like 0.1 is literally a distraction, so it's like, no matter what happens in 0.1, it's irrelevant. Hate to break it to you, but the raiding world first rush is what drives a good chunk of token sales. It generates a lot of revenue for Blizzard. What? Oh, God. No, it's not the world first rush that is generating. It's the new patch that is generating. The raid has no, very low participation. Dragonflight devs like rares because they're easy and cheap to design and force players to group up. Sure. Purpose of having multiple tiers of currencies to keep casual and solo players in their lane with no possible way of progressing higher. There is still no universal PvE currency or vendor like the Valor of old, and they should be. They also serve to make dragon riding more complex and reward only the skilled. No, it's not, bro. It's so not complex. What are we talking about? Dragon riding needs to be made more accessible. Vigor should recharge faster when you are on the ground, for example. Dude, dragon, like, if you cannot maintain yourself in the air, like, the whole time, I'm sorry to tell you, bro, like, just, like, keep crying to get, like, a normal mount. The dragon riding updates are basically exist because, yeah, there's not much more to add to it. What are they gonna add? Like, fucking fire-breathing dragon? I guess, maybe, I don't know. It was designed with limited resources and was a great one-stop for gear and daily content for open-world players. Zaralek Cavern is still dropping inferior gear to Forbidden Reach. It is a regression. World quests and events are awarding tiny amounts of rep. Jesus Christ, bro. But hey, people are happy with 0.1, I guess. Are you sure you actually played through the story quest? The Mole People town being burned out and the ends justify the means build up for the Black Dragonflight is devoid of conflict. Again... the feel. It's the feel. There's no feel for it, right? There's no urgency. There's no feel for it. There's no dangerous zone. Like, there's nothing. Also, there's no conflict between Alliance and Horde as well. Like, you can view it in many different ways. Like, the story itself has conflict, sure, but it's like, it's not like, you don't really feel it. You mean like how pretty much all the new zones in each patch are, and like how they have been doing this format for quite a while now? Even the Isles and Mob were just rare farming and currency grind for goodies. However, the beauty of Mob was that all of the mobs were fucking elite, and all of them had a chance to drop the purple gear that would turn into an item, the currencies and shit like that. You could farm that shit all fucking day and get something for it. There's no reason to go and kill shit in the new zone aside from the rare mount, like from the rare guy. That was the beauty of the Mop Isles. The Mop Isle, I guess, Timeless Isle. And you speak for how many people on this post, okay? And yeah, and yeah, for some reason you chose to avoid posting on a retail tune. Oh my god, bro, again with these, like, who cares what tune are you posting on? Jesus Christ. I put it to you that recently returned means logged off overnight while the servers were down from it. These troll threads are so predictable. Same MO every time. Oh, guess why? Because it's the same fucking problem. What kind of activities would you prefer the new zone have? Puzzles, things to discover, mini games, exploration, no flight zones, because if you fly there you're gonna get shot down. So zones that like you have to like kind of like secretly maneuver, otherwise you're gonna get fucked. How about that? And what's at the end? I don't know, man. Something interesting. Like mini puzzles for mounts, like for certain cosmetics. Solving like different problems in the zone that would reward, like each problem you solve will reward one piece of cosmetic gear, which is a part of a set that you get for completing all of the item, all of the like problem solving. Subjective Find has lots of interesting lore tidbits and definitely a lot of conflict. WoW has been doing patch zones the same way since Isle of Thunder. Why is that an issue now? That's because it's been doing it the same way since Isle of Thunder. Dude, this is what I said like at the beginning. This would be the end of this video. But this is what I said at the beginning. The people who are defending WoW are the ones who WoW can shit in their mouth and they would be totally fine with it. It's like, open wide, Blizzard is shitting in your mouth, and they're like, please, shit in my mouth, Blizzard, shit in my mouth. This is the people that are playing WoW right now. They're defending it. They're not even saying, like, what do you find has a lot of, like, which part? How about give an example? Like, what are you writing about here? I find has lots of interesting lore. Give me an example. I find has lots of interesting lore, such as A, B, C, D, E. But you can't, right? It's these people who literally, they didn't quit during Shadowlands when everyone basically quit, like 75% of the people quit. They didn't quit then because for them, it's all good. It's all fucking good, man. It's fine. Less people, no problem, man. Yeah, it's a fucking problem. It's harder to find a Mythic Plus group. It's hard to fucking raid. It's longer to queue into PvP. Rares are not gonna die as fast. Yes, it's a fucking problem. This is not a single player game. The more people you have in an MMORPG, the better. But here's what I don't understand about these people. If you are okay with anything Blizzard does anyways, then you shouldn't care about people complaining and want the game to change for the better. Because for you, it doesn't matter. And for other people, they'll be happier. And boom, it's a win-win-win. More players for Blizzard to make more money. More players are enjoying the game. And you degenerate fucks. I mean, you're already degenerate fucks. You're gonna stay degenerate fucks. So who cares? Oh my god, bro. Anyways, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. But basically, what I'm saying is, WoW shills, you need fucking help. You need to understand that no one is coming after you, because it doesn't matter how the game changes. You WoW shills, retards, are still gonna fucking play it. So stop complaining about people complaining about the game. If the worst part in a game, the worst part is when people don't complain about your game. That means they don't give a shit anymore. Not that everything is good, it means people don't give a shit. A dead game has no people complaining about because there are no people there. So stop telling these people to go away because they're like complaining. Troll threads, right? The trolls are you idiots who are defending Blizzard for absolutely no fucking reason. You might disagree, but you should probably say why you disagree. But when you just go out and attack a person for literally stating most of the stuff here are pretty fucking obvious, right? This one, okay, debatable, subjective. Just don't refer to it. But GD poll, I don't know why you would use that, but like we all know that rating is just like on a downslope. On that though, everything else is pretty much like it's facts. It's a base stake, it's facts. It is what it is. Argue the point. Stop attacking the fucking guy. Anyways, that's it for the video. Holy shit, that was over 50 minutes. Man, I really went deep into this one. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. That was episode 2. Take care.